And when you get into this profession, the better you become, the more you can make.
Whatever you're doing, give it all you got and just become the best at what you do. A bad door only becomes a bad day if you bring that on to the next doors. I have people depending on me, and I remembering why I started in the first place. Their best bet is skipping years of trial and error, doing it young.
Young guys and girls at a young age, they're staying in a being state. They're not growing, they're not changing, they're not being pushed, they're settling. Cheers. We're back. This isn't our first podcast we've done together. This is actually number 2. And as we started this off, Rudy took my good side. I'm usually on this side, now on this side, but it's all good. Man, it's been incredible. I mean, the first time that we actually did the podcast was really when like you were first starting with Cool Roofs. And after just an incredible year, I mean, 7 figures in sales, multiple 6 figures in commissions, all at the age of 22. There's like being the top rep when it comes to our actual company. But like, what does it feel like to be like the top rep for your age? I mean, even like in the top rep of no matter the age demographic, but knowing that you're 22 and the success that you've had, what does that feel like?
It feels amazing. It feels great to know that the hard work had paid off. I think when we had first spoken, I had given a little bit of information and background about myself. And what I had previously been doing was basically a jack of all trades, master of none. I was roofing on the side. I was a server and bartender trying to start an auto detailing business, and in the process of getting my business degree. And so in the mix of all that, to be completely honest, I didn't take roofing as serious, but as soon as I saw a check, I had learned that the money is real and this is real. And if I wanted more of it faster, then I had to go all in. And so I was all in, put in the time, put in the grind, and the seed grew.
And you were serving before, like
Yes.
you told me all the stories of serving, which is absolutely hilarious. Well, there's a lot of hilarious stories with you, but wasn't it Joseph that kind of impressed upon you the overall reality? You saw him like on Instagram, Joseph Alberto, that is, like you saw him on Instagram doing different things, and that's kind of what attracted you towards roofing?
Yes, sir. So I had saw a selfie he had posted on social media on top of a roof, and at that time, while I was serving, there was just something in my heart, God telling me there was more for me and giving me that hunger. But I met him halfway by looking at options and exploring, and I'm a crazy dude. I saw that was a crazy post he had on a roof. It looked crazy, and I wanted to explore and see what it entailed, and I'm just thankful.
And so after seeing it entail, you got a check, and seeing that dollar amount on the check, you're just like, all right, we're going all in.
Yes, sir. Once I saw the check, it was more than, I had that one check had covered more than months of serving, and serving was hard work each and every day, pulling doubles, working sun up to sundown, and the same amount of effort I was putting into roofing, I was triple to quadrupling the checks I was making here. So it's just a unique opportunity that I was just never introduced to, and it's just a big and rare opportunity here.
Yeah, there's so many things that can be said. Like when you look at a new opportunity, there's something about it, like seeing a check, seeing the numbers. They always say men lie, women lie, but numbers never lie. And if I can make X, then I can definitely make X. And then if I do more, I can really make X. And so that's how you've seen the growth. Now, you being young, 22, like reflect back on like maybe your 20-year-old self, 18-year-old self. There's so many young people within the world right now that are just like so eager to find this means to success. Like there's this vision that they have. They want to be successful. But I sometimes think that social media kind of plays a role as if it's super easy and like everyone can do it, whatnot. Like, how would you explain roofing to that person and like really the overall function of what it takes to be successful?
So at the beginning, it isn't easy. You go through a lot of trial and error. Somebody at a young age starting now, that's their best bet is skipping years of trial and error, doing it young, and their future self thanking them for that, for putting in the work now and just taking it it serious. I think a lot of people think they look down upon sales or commission jobs.
Yeah.
And I guess the American dream is just like getting a house, getting a 9 to 5, having something stable. And that's something I had struggled with at the beginning. I had thought that commission was just unstable and roofing and sales was unstable. But I realized it's actually the opposite. The more work, the more discipline you are, the more stable this is, right? So I wish I would have told my younger self, and I did, I did tell my younger self to take it serious. This is the time to go through trial and error. I'm grateful I put in the hard work and effort. So I would definitely encourage people to take this serious, because this is a rare opportunity that won't always be here.
No, absolutely. And I love how like things do take time. And when you get into this profession, the better you become, the more you can make, because you become so much more valuable. Questions you can answer, the way that you communicate effectively with homeowners. And you talk about like people look down on sales. I think sales is without a doubt the greatest opportunity in the world, untapped ceiling, untapped potential, the ability to create whatever it is that you want to create based on what you put forth. And one thing that I always like kind of makes me chuckle is a lot of people are like, well, you need to go back to the traditional way of making money and save up, save your money, plan for retirement. But I just feel like that's backwards. Like work so hard just to a point in life, later in life, where you can enjoy it for a small period of time. I rather truly like fixate on the goals, like we talk about. GOAL means to go out and live and have the ability to work super hard now, creating the overall experience. And do you feel like the experience while being in sales is just untapped? It has no resemblance to the traditional way of life, traditional 9 to 5. It just really creates that freedom for you.
Yes, sir. Because in a 9 to 5, you can work as hard as you want and you're still capped, right? But in sales, there's endless opportunities. The sky is the limit. You control your own growth. And I think that's something rare that sales gives you, is control. You're able to control your pace, your income, your growth, all by your effort, right? The fact that there's a job where you can put in as much hard work as you can to make as much as you want, and that reflects your effort, reflects the income, is just, it's mind blowing,
Yep.
and I still have friends and people that tell me, like, why get into something where you don't know what you're going to make? What if you don't make anything? But my mindset is flipped to where, like, I can make however much I want, and do as I want,
Yep.
So I'm blessed to have this opportunity.
And it's like that security question. Like most people try to talk to us about solidified security in terms of what we make on a month to month. But in return to them, they also really don't have security. Like their job is in the hands of another individual who's entrepreneurial just like us, assuring that opportunity is being created. We just remove that individual and we create our own opportunity, which overall I believe brings way more security in the event, because to them it's like, you don't know what you're going to make. No, like I'm a self-driven individual. I'm calculated with my goals. I'm calculated with my daily performance to know exactly what I need to do in order in return to understand exactly what I need to make. And then that next month comes around, you reflect on that month and know, if I made X by doing this, I need to focus on whatever this is to then do even more so that next month. And so I love that conversation. Now, also on top of that, the cherry on top, you probably are one of like the most hardworking individuals that I know. I mean, I remember being on a job site. You come by within Austin and you're like, I'm going to go knock a couple doors. And then like 3 hours later, you come back. Where does that drive come from?
It comes from knowing that I have people depending on me, and I remembering why I started in the first place. And that's just to take care of my family and provide as much opportunity as I can for them. And so sometimes it isn't easy, and there are hard days and hard moments, but I just remember that those hard days are what creates separation, and just knowing I have people depending on me, and that this will not only change my bank account, of course, but my family tree and generations to come is what keeps me, pushing each and every day.
And that's the funnest part too. Like even just seeing your better self grow throughout the years. Like I love, that's my favorite part of videos and photos, is like a part of the journey you're capturing. And then 10 years later, you can reflect on it and not only know like from an understanding of your bank account and how much success you've had, but just seeing your overall growth as an individual. And I feel like you've grown tremendously here within sales, but also kind of like on all areas of life, finances, sales, health and wellness. Like, do you kind of see that as the vehicle that's really helped you here at Cool Roots, like just attack all areas of life?
Yes, sir. Not only is there opportunity for growth in in sales, of course, but in physical health, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, I feel like I'm meeting God halfway. He's giving me the vision and I'm just putting in the work. And I appreciate the opportunity here at Kurus. There's a circle where we're all pushing each other up, and it's a genuine circle where we're all pushing each other physically and mentally. The true definition of a circle is someone who pushes others up, right? And others who push the people around them up. I'm just thankful that you had pushed me to be better with my health, and I finally got on track, and I feel better than ever.
And absolutely crushing it. And it's so fun to see. You know, I love seeing where people start. I love watching them through the journey. But then as soon as you really start seeing change and just the way you carry yourself and just this light that comes around you, it's super epic to just be able to experience that. Now, you have a good mentorship too. I mean, I know you work closely with Joseph Alberto. Talk to me about Joe. How does Joe operate?
I appreciate him as a leader, as he picks people up with him and pushes people. Sometimes he's even above him at times, and I think that's what makes a good leader. On the flip side, bad leader puts themselves above everybody. And so I'm just thankful that I know he's gone through a lot, he's learned a lot, and he's applied it to where I feel like we're all just pushing each other now. He's been there through the tough times, has helped me keep a calm and cool and collective mindset. And so I'm just glad that we have each other to keep pushing each and every day for better for each other.
It just goes back to that circle. Environment's everything. And
Yes, sir.
what I love about Chorus, I know we're penguins, that's our mascot, but there's always that saying, it's like you either soar with eagles or you flock with pigeons. And every time I wake up, there's just this like immense gratitude that the conversations I have with you, with Joseph, with so many incredible people here are always like assertive in growth, are always moving the needle forward, always focused on getting better, always solution oriented, and never really teeters along the lines of negativity. And even if it does, it's just like a quick snap paradigm shift back to understanding, you know, what's positive out of whatever situation. So you've done some big jobs this year. There's one job I want to talk about, and then like as soon as I talk about this job, I know that marketing team's going to pull this clip and then throw the whole entire job behind us showcasing it. But let's talk about this new product that it's not new, but it's one that we've decided that we don't typically install. Tell me a little bit about this F-Way project, where you did it at, the experience with the homeowner, and all in all, like the overall just excitement, like your favorite parts of the products and whatnot as well.
So this job had taken place in Pearsall, Texas. The homeowner had originally been interested in going through metal. He wasn't aware of F-Wave, and so I had did a little bit of research about the product. I had proposed it to him and let him know, like, hey, this is a truly unique product. His mindset was he wanted to stand out, and he thought that he would accomplish that through metal. But I had told him, hey, if you really want to stand out, this material is vibrant. This thing is bulletproof. You know, it's a really solid material. It's high quality. And I think what sold him was the self-healing, the fact that we were able to show him in person that we could cut it, we could light it up with the torch, you know, and just show him like with the heat, this thing will heal. The thickness of it, it was a no-brainer, and it looked amazing on top of his home. And I'm just thankful we were able to protect the homeowner by putting that material up, and just knowing that he really won't have to worry for the future due to its high wind resistance and hail impact resistance.
And it turned out to be an absolutely beautiful product.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
It's actually like one of my, I love Da Vinci. I love a lot of the class 4 products, but I've been pitched on it so much so from, our, you know, of course, our great friend Scott, SRS, ABC. They have an incentive, I guess, in order to get us to push the product. And you finally took it, ran with it. And I was like, my gosh, it actually like showed out to be a really cool production.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
There's also a video of you where you're lighting it and showing how it gets, it's so cool. So we talk about some cool products. Are there any other cool installs that you want to highlight that you're able to knock out this year?
So there was at the beginning of the year, a Decra installation that was extremely nice. It's metal, but a decorative metal, like a designer metal. And the cool thing about that product as well, it was antique shake. It looks nearly like shingle. The HOA was okay to prove it, even in an all shingle neighborhood. And it was also something that stood out as well. So I'm on the hunt to try and install different roofing material right now, and explore those. So I've been studying a lot more different products and pushing to install them. And I know it's a lot more long-term lasting as well. So
and that's awesome. You know, there's so many people who get into this industry and they just stay at a base level education when it comes to value and products offered to the homeowner. You know, you see, if you're focused more on the storm driven opportunity, you collect the scope of work, they receive it, and you just go back with like, kind, and quality, or maybe upgrade them from like a class 3 to class 4. But taking it that next step further, I think is very important, especially with like deductibles getting high, especially with storms. I feel like they're becoming more and more active over a period of time. So, you know, having the ability to really know that the homeowner is about to make a large investment, and I say large because deductibles typically are just becoming more and more, let's go ahead and give them the best bang for their buck, knowing that their home is going to be protected. And so I love the class 4. Now, to shift, like, as you're out there, I just want to know, because you're just such a sales professional, tell us a story about like when you didn't expect a yes but got a yes.
This was actually recent. I hadn't been able to get out much this day to go out and knock. I had a few appointments and some referrals that I had to take care of. But one of my non-negotiables was just going out and at least knocking one door a day. And that's what I did. I knocked one door that day, but it was already dark, with my intention not anything coming from it because there was no vehicles in the driveway. The lights were off. Knocked on the door. I left my card. And as I was leaving the driveway, this car just pulled up extremely fast. I'm sure some of the guys can attest to this, that when you get home and the homeowner pulls up, it's just awkward because it looks like I'm trying to break in or something, So they pulled up screaming at me. I stayed calm and I reassured them why I was there and my intentions. And once they realized that, they were like, you know what, I am in need of a roof replacement. I spent my insurance money a few years back, but I just got dropped because my insurance told me I need to do a roof now. And so speed is key. I sent them an estimate that night, a shingle and metal. They asked for shingle, but again, I pitched the option for metal, and she ended up signing it that next morning, so for a full metal roof replacement. So that was just nice to know that God gave me that push and met me halfway. I put in the effort, and we were able to help a homeowner
That's amazing.
Probably still wouldn't have done the roof by now if I didn't stop by. So
that's awesome. And that's what I love too. And we always talk about these on the sales calls and whatnot. There's so many people out there who are needing roofs. Like they got dropped, or they do have damage, or they're having significant issues. My favorite part about the sales process is like, they're either going to go with us or they're going to go with them. So it might as well be us. But what's the difference between the two? It's us getting the ability to get in front of them before they get, in front of somebody else. And so you're right. Speed is literally everything in the name of this game. So when you're doing your pitches and when you're, really just opening up conversation, I know Joseph talks a lot about the SLAP formula, but what are some things that you like to say at the door?
So a magician never reveals his secrets. But what I like to say at the door, it's always different each and every time. I like to start by providing an icebreaker, just complimenting their home in some way, or their vehicle. I almost started an auto detailing business, so I'm big into vehicles. I usually always compliment that, and then I reassure them that I'm not here to sell them anything. I don't have a roof in my truck. I'm not gonna put it on that, but just let them know why I'm in the area and that I'm here to just provide valuable information. And sometimes they have their guard up. I just stay calm and cool and collective. I don't react to what they tell me. I respond and I listen to their situations. A lot of them have been burned before by bad reps or bad companies that are just looking out for the dollar, but we provide value. We think about the homeowner and not the dollar amount, and that's usually what provides me success.
That's amazing. And through these days that you're out hitting it, because you literally hit it every day, we always hear about the wins. We always hear about the successes. We always paint this amazing picture about the finances you've been able to generate and how successful you are. But let's kind of like have some fun and go through like the day-to-day of the not so sunshiny days. So like, I want you to tell maybe some stories in regards to like rejections that you've gotten, anything crazy, because this isn't just smooth sailing, is it?
Rejection definitely comes with the game, but every time I do get that, I don't take it personal. In sales, we've heard a lot, we've dealt with a lot, and so I don't take it personal. When I am rejected, I just personally thank them for their time and I move forward with the same energy. I've had a lot of situations where like people are partying or something, they're having a barbecue, and I just invite myself in. I just try to create a friend at that door. I don't know what's going on behind that door, but I just know know that people like being talked to, and they like having a conversation. So the more robotic you are, the more you'll be treated like one, and nobody likes getting doors slammed in their face. And so I'm human. I have conversations. I hear them, and that good energy and momentum kills negativity. So a bad door only becomes a bad day if you bring that onto the next door. So I have had a few crazy stories where people aren't happy I'm there. They weren't expecting anybody, but I just know that I'm there for a reason. I'm there to help people, and people can feel off of that human to human energy. So and they respect it.
Yeah, so what you're saying is like most people typically try to just always evolve as a sale. Like they look at that homeowner as if they're just another dollar sign, as they're just another number. Well, you're saying the ultimate success here is developing experience that creates a friendship and that builds that trust. And so you probably, I guess you would say, leave it like an educational approach.
Yeah, so people want to feel respected and not pressured. So sometimes people can approach it by applying pressure to that homeowner, like, hey, it needs to be done. But I take a more laid back approach, like, hey, I'm just here to inform you. I'm a homeowner myself. I can relate to you. If I didn't do roofing before this, I wouldn't get on my roof either, So a lot of people have approached me like, hey, I'm not having any leaks, and my roof, it looks fine from down here. But the truth is that you can't see the damage from the ground. You have to go up there, and you don't want to wait till there's leaks. Right now, it's just roof damage. But by the time you wait so long, it's structural now. It's like a vehicle. It's not going to break down on you that next day. It takes time. It's going to shoot you some check engine lights, like a shingle on the ground. That's like a check engine light, and the longer you just ignore that, the more expensive it gets, So I'm here to prevent that. They understand that. And I'm able to provide a no obligation inspection to where I can just send them photos, and it's up to them what they want to do with it. But I'm just here to be a resource for them.
I love that example, a check engine light. Yeah, you don't have anything in your house, nothing on your thermostat that pops up saying that there is a significant issue with the roof. So when you come by, you truly have, through our technology and through the inspection reports that we put together, paint that picture to do one of two things. I mean, really one thing is just develop peace of mind and understanding of the current situation where their roof's at.
Yeah, it's like an oil change on your vehicle. There's certain things you got to do to maintain your home, maintain your vehicle, and there's certain things you need to do to maintain your home. And the roof is probably one of the biggest sources of protection for them, So a lot of people wait until it's too late, and then they go through this headache and heartache. And I know I can prevent that, by providing an inspection and letting them know what's going on. And sometimes they don't have damage, but at least they can have that peace of mind.
And let's talk about some of the things that you've seen that, say for instance, could have been an issue if that day you weren't there to get up on the roof and assist that homeowner. What's kind of some of the commonalities you see that are more on the negative side that could then, you were able to save and mitigate any interior damage or whatnot? Like, what are some things you see pretty consistently?
I see pretty consistently the winds we have and the storms we've had this year. A lot of missing shingles. What's beneath the shingles is like 15-30 pound felt, and that really doesn't serve much protection. So there's usually some sort of decking exposed on some roofs, and what I provide is an emergency tarp where I can tarp that exposed decking at that moment just to prevent any further damage. But I usually can see rotted wood, and so when I do see that, sometimes I do offer to go in the attic and see, like, hey, is there any moisture I can see? Or sometimes I'll go inside, and they weren't aware of the exposed areas they have on their roof, and I end up finding water spots inside that they weren't aware of as well. So it's nice to find the problem and find a solution as well, and let the homeowner knows that they weren't aware of even the water spots going on. That's usually one of the biggest things, is missing shingles, and I'm able to either guide them through the insurance process, or if it just requires a small repair and it's not through the decking, I'm happy to do that as well. But every home has their own unique situation that I can provide a solution to.
I think my big thing I always saw was the pipe jack boots. Every single time I'm always seeing them to become an issue. Squirrel's favorite toy to nibble on is what I say. But you're right. In the world of building right now, I think we've found ourselves in such a growth phase in San Antonio, Austin, alongside the 35 corridor, that the way that, it depends on your neighborhood or whatnot. But let's just take like an example, like a DR Horton, or, not specifically want to call out anyone, but these guys build in a very quick manner. And we like to say, they use builder grade products, builder grade shingles, and it's usually just one or two guys up there there that are putting it on. And so although it could be weather related, there's a lot that has to do with the actual install and its deficiencies. But you're right, when like these experience some type of issues from a significant storm, it's not synthetic felt. The felt that's underneath is not your typical protection. And so it's important when having one of these new homes to assure that you have those routine checks, because that issue that you're currently having can just get more and more worse.
And roofs aren't waterproof, they're water shedding, and they're water shedding by the material they have, right? So when there's an error or a missing shingle or an exposed decking or like an issue with the pipe jack boot, well then that creates vulnerability in that area and can affect the rest of the system, you know. So those routinely checks after a storm or once or twice a year is extremely important, and just that simple gesture of just a small inspection can tens to thousands of dollars for a full roof replacement.
Yeah, very well said. Now, as you've grown every day within this industry, I'm always like curious to know, like, you've met with so many different homeowners. What are some of the commonly asked questions in terms of roofing that homeowners tend to ask you?
One of the biggest things is what's their out of pocket, and is that what's the process with the deductible. And I like relating it to like going to the doctor and having a copay, right? Your insurance is going to take care of everything but your out of pocket expense, what you sign up for. A lot of the homeowners aren't aware of their insurance policies. You know, their agent doesn't fully disclose everything, and so they're shocked when we get the full roof approved, but they have an ACV policy and now they don't know what to do. And so with ACV policies versus RCV, ACV meaning actual cash value, RCV meaning replacement cost value, the homeowner's responsible for not just the deductible but the depreciation on the back end. And so I get a lot of questions like, what do I do? You know, where do I go from here? You know, I thought I only had my deductible that I was responsible for. And so in those unique situations, which are honestly becoming more common, the cool thing here at Cool Roofs is we can provide that solar as an option as well, where we can provide them solar panels where they're not just renting energy but owning their energy now, as well as battery options. And so we can explore that with them. It usually turns a negative outcome to a positive one. And so I'm just glad we have that as an option. I'm glad I can provide a solution for them with solar panels. And so
And what you're saying basically is like, you know, at the end of the day, like I think sales professionals were just professional problem solvers. So, you know, you start out step one, you address the overall issue of the roof and you step them through properly educating them about the next steps. And then once educating them, you get back that policy. Well, in that event, there could be another problem depending on what policy they have. And so here comes another solution. And that's what I love about Cool Roofs and what we're able to do is like we're always constantly thinking about the next creative finance play that helps this homeowner overall and protects them. So whether that be rolling into a solar loan, and now we're solving even more issues, high deductible or bad policy. Now we're also solving the issue of we've got a very, very high electric bill. Now we're able to, you know, provide a solution, and then just great financing options. 0% is what we now have through Regions, which is super cool, getting that launched, but always just fixating the overall notion of helping homeowners by solving their problems. And so is that kind of how you see the industry itself, as kind of the role you play as a professional?
yes, sir. Yeah, I take this job or this career very serious, and the goal is to build a connection and help any way you can. And so we see a lot of problems that come up. You know, we work in construction, and there's builders where there's 100, 200 homes, and they're just trying to knock them out. And sometimes they cut corners here and there on some homes. And so homeowners aren't aware. They're just buying their dream home or their investment home. They're looking to somebody for help and guidance, and they don't have the experience and knowledge we do. And so we learn as much as we can to help and be there in those situations and provide solutions. And so always being able to provide solutions and answers for those homeowners is huge. So I take pride in what I do. I'm happy.
And it's good that you do that. And like what I'm about to like say right now is like truly shots fired towards the industry. But like if you look at the amount of roofers that are out there, there's a lot. And a lot of people get into this industry and they do base level things. That's why there's a significant difference between residential roofers and commercial roofers. Commercial roofers is a whole nother ball game, and it's a ball game that we do extremely well in because of the time we spent within this industry adapting ourselves with the proper education, tools, and personnel to be able to knock it out of the park. Yeah. And so as a homeowner, when I talk to them, like you're saying, being a professional problem solver, there's so many roofing companies that cut corners on the insurance side of things, that cut corners and do things that typically aren't legal, that could be an issue for that company as well as the homeowner. They cut corners in essence of the builds that they do, the materials that they use. And it's not necessarily, some of them are probably even blind to the fact that they're doing it, but they just hop into an industry that has a great opportunity for them. They're taught certain things and they just do it because they're chasing an overall dollar.
Yeah.
And so I always tell homeowners, like, it's very important to fixate, like, follow your gut and do the proper research that it takes in order to find the proper contractor who can put the best foot forward and truly educate you throughout the whole process. Because there is such thing as storm chasers. There is such thing as individuals who are really in this just for themselves, and all they carry is, in terms of a value add for a lot of them, is a taillight warranty. And what a taillight warranty practically means is, like, once they leave, you're probably only going to see their taillight and never see them again. It's funny, but we have that so much so that I like it that it puts a negative connotation on the overall industry itself that we're a part of, but that grants us the opportunity to just always get better and better and better and be a bright light within a dark industry.
Yeah.
And so I know that you've been with us, you've been with companies before, or a company before. What would you say is the differentiating factor of us and other competitors, of other installers or roofing companies that you find within your area?
The difference I find between them and us is there's a lot of companies out here that are chasing the dollar, right? And they come in thinking, oh, okay, well, I see sales, big checks, I'm going straight for the income. And they don't take time to learn the fundamentals and the basics of how a roof is installed, or how the insurance process should be, or what insurance should be covering. So sometimes insurance misses out on some line items, and contractor ends up charging the homeowner instead of knowing that the insurance does cover those things. There's a good side and bad side of the industry, and what it comes down to is that homeowners are looking somebody that they can look up to, right? In the process of that, they're desperate. They're just trying to find somebody that can help, right? And sometimes they say yes to their first person instead of doing their due diligence, and they end up being taken advantage of, where they get their insurance funds stolen, or they get a poor roof installation due to corners cut. So my biggest thing here is we provide our license, we provide our insurance, which is crazy that Texas is a no license state, meaning that you don't need a license to do a roof installation here. Only 3% of companies in Texas actually are licensed. And so we encourage homeowners to do their due diligence, and then we provide our information, such as our Google website, our reviews, our 5-star plus reviews, and we reassure them that, hey, we're here for the long run. What stands us out is just not the present, but the future. We're going to be here if you need a call. If I ever got a call for a problem that a homeowner had past installation, I'm there that day, if not the next day, or I'll have a colleague there. So again, I take pride in what we stand for. One candle can light up a whole room. So I know Cool Roofs is just one company, but we really can light up this industry by doing good and just spreading it.
And I love that. And it's important to know as a homeowner too, like, he made a really good point in terms of, like, licensing and whatnot. And that 3% of the club that is licensed, it's through a third-party organization called RCAT. So overall, there's truly not a license within Texas, but there's 3% of the roofers that understand the importance of continuing education and following guidelines. So RCAT is basically a third-party compliance agency that assures that you have high-end insurance, you carry workman's comp, you've been around for X amount of years, you're not just a fly-by-night company who started an LLC today. So it's a very good regulator. Well, my favorite part of it is like, here at Cool Roofs, like, if there was a true state license that you had to have, we would have it. And the way that I'm able to stand behind that is because we've actually mastered and taken what's called the NASCLA test. Now, the NASCLA gives us 18 states. It's one of the hardest tests to take as general contracting, and we actually have a state contracting license in New Mexico. We have one in North Carolina, South Carolina. We have one in Tennessee, and we have one in New Jersey, as well as Arkansas. So showing that those states are mandatory for us in order to perform business there, which we do, it just shows that, hey, we follow the rules and the regulations and get properly licensed in these states. In Texas, we would do the same thing if we had the opportunity to do so. And one thing that we did was work strategically with RCAT to better understand how we can push legislation with them. But here in Texas, it's just, when it comes to regulation and licensing, it's just not something that's very pushed upon, more so frowned upon, which is absolutely crazy, because we always think that protection and licensing isn't really much so for the contractor. It's great, but it's more so for the homeowner. Because you and I, being within this field, have heard horror story after horror story after horror story, and I think that would mitigate that and then really clean up the overall industry. So maybe one day, but I'm not sure. Have you seen a ton of mess, when you're working with different clients and whatnot, hearing the horror stories that they've experienced throughout the industry?
I have seen quite a few horror stories. I'm happy with the process Cool Roof has, is because during roof installations, the homeowners in a group chat with myself, but also a quality control manager and an area manager. So that way there's multiple eyes on projects to prevent any horror stories from happening. And we also do attic inspections, which are huge, just in case we don't nail on anything we're not supposed to. So just really taking each roof installation serious and treating it like if it's our own home has kept us protected and safe and taken care of. So I have heard horror stories. The only thing we can do from here is just make sure that our homeowners are taken care of, and always give an extending hand, and welcome to anyone that does need help or has been through tough situations. So again, we don't provide any like hard, stern pressure. We just reassure people that we're here and happy to help.
No, I love that. And it's so cool that there's a commonality between Rudy and I. Every single time I work with you and have the privilege to be with you, I always see myself, because I got started in roofing the day after my 21st birthday. And if I had we have here, life would be so much different. And I love the journey all the way here now that I've been in this industry. I mean, my gosh, going on 12 years, which is wild, but it's been the best 12 years of my life. I think it's important too. Like, we always talk about, personal development. We talk about goals and we talk about what drives us and pushes us. But I think it's very important for everyone to understand too. Like, one thing that we also have in common is an incredible woman behind us. And I know that your wife has a ton to do with your overall success and just being there, supporting you and pushing you. And Lexi's incredible. And I think the same way as Jacqueline. Like, it's hard to be where we're at with not having that overall supporting partner. Talk to me a little bit about that.
So when I first got into the industry, I had realized that certain people have a schedule where they knock a certain amount of doors or a certain amount of hours each and every day. But she quickly told me to just not come home unless I have something to be proud of or good news to tell her. So she pushes me each and every day to start off with the win. We both make the bed. We both talk to God in the morning. She prays over me and just tells me for God to bless the day and provide opportunity. And then I feel my body. She makes me a quick breakfast, and then I hit the gym. So I'm just thankful she keeps me on schedule, keeps me on track. She continues to encourage me even on those hard times when I do need somebody to lean on and I'm going through some tribulations. She's there to pick me up, and so I'm just thankful that she's there for me to just push me closer to my goals, even when I feel like I'm falling off path. So I'm just thankful. She also tells me to not just judge myself off of results, but consistency, and that the results will follow. So just thankful she keeps me ground-minded.
After all that, we didn't have her on the podcast.
Yeah.
And that's some like fire advice. I think one of the cool things too is that day that you were in Austin and I was checking on a job site and you're out getting it. I was like, what are you doing? And you told me, you're like, well, Lexi told me not to come home tonight until I get the deal. And I was like, you just signed a deal. And she says that one doesn't count.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was like the coolest like motivation or something that was told from your significant other. I mean, I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. She's a little tough on me, but tough soldiers through tough situations create, easy times.
So being 22 now and being young, knowing that you're definitely in your top 1% when it comes to, the money you've made, not even just in this industry, but overall. And the top percent of the United States, really in the world. And it's amazing to see what your commitment to focus and just hitting it every day has brought about an experience in life and the success you've had. What would you say to like someone your age, if they were ever looking into sales or looking into roofing? What's some advice that you would give them?
So I would tell them that age doesn't define your impact. And so a lot of the people right now are partying and looking for pleasure in that. Long-term thinking beats short-term fun every time. A lot of people think that the opportunities will always be there, but they won't, right? The parties will always be there, but opportunities won't. And so if you can take that serious, take this industry serious, you can truly not change just your life, but your family's life, right? And create so much more opportunity for yourself. So I definitely encourage that the income is nice, but the discipline is even better, right? That's the true flex, is just continuing to show up each and every day and knowing you're building towards something. right? You have a clear direction, a clear path, and that your future self will thank you for that.
And it's so well said. Aaron Werline always tells me, he's like, I think the funnest thing to see in life is becoming is always better than being. And I feel like young guys and girls at a young age, they're staying in a being state. They're not growing. They're not changing. They're not being pushed. They're settling. They're settling what life gives them. And, Jim Rohn talks about it a lot. He said, you can either get from the day or you can get through the day. And I think most people start Monday getting through the week, wishing it was Friday so they can go do the partying and the drinking and the whatever. But that doesn't show anything to be proud of. I think that's what's very fascinating about you is not only the fact that you're young, but the fact that you're disciplined and you're assertive towards success, and this roadmap that you have and the way that you're starting to see this financial success so young, you can literally set yourself up for life. You can change the direction of the generation of your family, which is way more exhilarating and way more fulfilling than buying a bottle at a club or, spending time at a bar.
And some people, honestly, some people do get in sales, right? They try it out. If I could give any information to someone my age, is just telling them once they are in this industry to not water the seed and leave before they get to see that seed grow, So once they're in here, take it serious and just be patient. A lot of people are looking for quick money, but nothing quick lasts, right? So a lot of people my age think that, oh, I'm just 21, I'm just 20, I'm just 22, but no, you're already 21, you're already 22. You could have been so much more ahead if you would have just taken it serious. So the best time to have started was years ago. The second best time is now. So if I could just encourage people, I would just say take the first step now.
Take the leap and really just commit. And that's another big thing. Most people don't commit to one specific thing. I'm going to be in sales, but also I'm doing real estate, and also I'm selling this, and also I'm being a part of this, and also I'm joining this. It's man, I've known from experience that the jack of all trade mentality, I always say leader of one, leader of many. If you can't lead one, then you can't lead any. So in massive, you can't lead yourself to success on one specific vehicle. There's no purpose in trying to do 10 different things at once. I always like to say, and that's one thing that I've done, is burn the overall ships, focus on one specific thing, become the best of the best within, understanding everything about it, and then become a pillar in your community. I know a lot of people think Rudy, they think roofs. Someone has an issue with the roof, they think Rudy, and you have to become that, just like tissues, Kleenex. I want to be known as Colt Roof. But when you're trying to do 50 different things, there's not really a trust found within the profession of what you do. Does that make sense?
If you don't know where you're going, then any route will take you there, right? And so there's two things when you're trying to figure life out. You need to find a purpose, and then you need to apply action. So one is figuring out what you want to do, where you want to go, and then how do I get there, right? So writing things down. The moment I started writing things down and taking it serious and telling myself hey, look, I wrote it, now I'm going to keep my promise, because if I can't keep my promise to myself, I'm not going to keep my promise to anybody else. So I started taking my own words serious. I started placing boundaries, and that's when the seed started growing. And discipline is huge. That's the real flex. And I would just encourage anybody out there, whatever you're doing, give it all you got and just become the best at what you do. Focus in on one thing, zone in on it, and you'll truly start to see wonders and miracles happen.
I couldn't agree more. And as we wrap up on this podcast, what is something that you maybe brought today that you wanted to share that I might not have been able to cover? Is there anything specifically that you'd like to talk about?
Your future is bigger than what you can see right now. And we all don't know what we have in store for us, but what we can do that our future self would thank us for is just continuing to just work hard in the present. The present's called the present because it's a gift, right? So leadership is in our future, and it's bigger than what we can see. That God's gonna give us a vision, and we just have to meet him halfway by working hard. So he's gonna provide those doors for us. It's our choice if whether we want to open them. So some people are gonna open them, some people are gonna knock, and some people are just gonna bust down the door, and go for whatever that they know that's in store for them. So the only one that can save you is yourself, right? At the end of the day. So no one else is coming to save you but you. Just continue to grind each and every day, even on the hard days.
And it's so true, man. We have a guy in Memphis that just started another Colton, and he was like, man, I just love your social media and everything. He said one of the big things that stood out to me was there's a young guy who made $24,000 in a week. He's like, was that a typo? And I'm like, no, that's Rudy. And so, with that being said, you can tell that this guy is a wealth of knowledge. It's an individual who goes out and gets it every single day, and he is one of the best. And when you live in the world of gurus in terms of things that you see on the internet, and people try to tell you what to do, how to do it, as my good friend Alex Morton would say, it's just hard work works. And he's the prime example of that, the discipline of every single day. I have so many people ask me, like, hey man, like I love the roofing and stuff, but how do you win? Well, you win by putting in action. You win by showing up every day, and you win by being just like Rudy. And it's fascinating to follow this guy. I'm telling you right now, I'm saying on the podcast, he will be the most successful individual that I'll know within this roofing industry. He's got a head start of so many of us just through the knowledge, through the education, through the grit, through the commitment, and what he brings to the table. He will be the best, and he is the best. And so for young guys out there who may be in car sales or any type of sales or whatnot, if you're looking for somebody to follow that's genuine, that has the numbers, that is doing what it is, that, living a life that you want to live, this is the guy to follow right here, because he's real, he's authentic, he's genuine, and truly he just puts in the work every day and absolutely dominates. So subscribe to our channel. We love subscriptions. We're taking this thing to the moon. And Rudy, I love you, man. I'm so proud of you. We're going to keep crushing it together. And we'll talk soon. Peace.